You are listening to audio from the Decidedly podcast. This episode is a highlight clip from this week's full episode. To listen in on the complete conversation, see the show notes for the link to the complete show. You can help us out by leaving us a 5-star review wherever you listen to podcasts. We appreciate every bit of your support. I'm Morgan McKittrick, your producer, and this is Decidedly.
Yeah. As a leader, me having very specific values for my company, it moderates my own behavior as much as it moderates anybody's behavior in the company.
As the leader, you should be living your values. A couple things on values. One is it was bottom up for us. I did not decree the values. So we had a meeting, and it was like, 10 years ago now, where we established these, and it was everyone writing what was important to them. We put everyone's ideas up on the wall, and then we affinity mapped and we grouped them. And we came up with these 8 that everyone agreed with that we thought were good. There's one value that I love. It's called "We are always learning." That gives you permission to fail, right? Because no one's perfect. People are going to make mistakes, and we're delivering a lot of work every month for a lot of clients. And it's okay if something goes off the rails because other people will help. We're always learning. We will course correct and we will get to the outcome. But if you're afraid of failure, or if you're trying to be perfect, and there's this pressure on you, it's never going to happen. So I know you're from Texas, right? And I'm assuming you watch, am I right?
Yeah, Texas? I just enthusiastically, have to express my Texas pride.
But football, right?
Of course.
Okay. So you probably know the Stoops brothers.
Of course.
Okay. So here we go.
We're not huge fans of them, but we know them.
I am not either. However, I went to the University of Arizona in Tucson, and Mike Stoops was the coach at one time. Yeah. And his style, and I think he was so well-intended, and I think he was a great guy. I even sat next to him at a basketball game once, which was fun. He was feeding his kid Dippin' Dots. Okay, cool guy. But the problem as a leader was that you could not make a mistake for Mike Stoops. You would get berated. You would be yelled at publicly on the sidelines for hours. Okay, and how does that manifest? There's this famous football game against the rival, Arizona State. Arizona State. And the Arizona State quarterback is literally throwing balls right at the Arizona defensive backs, and they're dropping them. They are so scared that they're going to screw up that they're dropping interceptions, just literally in the breadbasket. It happened 4 or 5 times in the game, and we're like, what is going on? And you could just see it on the sidelines. They were just getting destroyed, right? And so hey, buddy, you'll get the next one. It's you suck. I'm benching you. You're an idiot. All that. It's that doesn't work. So I know we got on a tangent there, but I just had to share.
I
treat your team
100% agree with that.
It doesn't work. You have to love your team, and you have to know what their pressures are, what their needs are. You said, how do I deal with creative? I am a creative. I know I've been a designer. I've been on those deadlines. I've been trying to communicate a message effectively for the client and for the end user and make it amazing and, try to be the most excellent in my craft. That's not easy to do. Oh, and what if I'm having a bad day?
I think one of the great gifts one of the best things that can happen to someone who wants to get good at becoming a leader is to have a really bad leader, at least for a little bit. So you can see, that's not how it works. You were talking about Mike Stoops. I had a boss when I was in college. I worked at this ranch. I was not doing very complicated work. I'm doing ranch hand work. Occasionally I'm going to operate a power tool. Occasionally I'm going to drive a tractor. It wasn't, we weren't doing algebra. And she was so mad every day, always. And if I ever needed help, she would say, and she's like a 75-year-old lady, I need to come out there and do it for you. I'm like, no, you don't have to wrangle these calves for me. I can figure it out. And I remember one moment, it was the equivalent of me dropping a pass thrown right at my hands. I told her, hey, the wood that you've given me to create this fence, it's rotting and it's crumbling, and I think we need to buy new wood. And she's yelling at me like I'm an idiot. Do you not know how to build a fence? I'm like, all right, well. And so she decides, I'm going to come watch him build this fence because now I can't trust him to build it without me. So now I'm doing it. And I'm so nervous about making a mistake in front of her that I took a nail, put it in this fence and smack the hammer with it backwards. I smacked the back end of the hammer. I forgot how to use a damn hammer because she was breathing on my neck so bad. And it was
crazy.
Like, that was it. Like I couldn't work there anymore.
And think about it. I mean, in my field, highly competitive. My team's amazing, probably constantly being hit up for other job opportunities, right? But most of them have stayed over 10 years, over a decade, my firm, because they know they're going to be taken care of. They know when things go wrong, I'm going to take care of it. I mean, when the pandemic hit, it's like we were taking care of our team. So you have to have this permission to fail. You have to have this love or appreciation from your company or your leader so that you feel that you can go to war every day, go to battle and do great things, right? And then when you do great things, you're appreciated and validated for that.
Yeah.
Like those are real things that really matter. They're not lip service that some consultant's going to tell you to do to try to like up your retention. Like if you have a retention problem, you better look at the experience you're creating for your customer and for your employee, because probably not great. Because if it is, they probably aren't going to leave.
Yeah. People don't leave to get paid more. Yeah. They'll use that as an excuse if they're getting mistreated. But people will quickly take a pay cut to get away from bad leadership.
Thanks for making the great decision to listen in to this week's episode highlight. If you want more of what you just heard, see the show notes for the full episode. As always, for the latest decision-making tips, find us on decidedlypodcast.com or on Instagram @decidedlypodcast. And be sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter from the link in the show notes. Don't forget to leave us a 5-star review as well. We read all of your comments, so if you learned some decision-making tips today, let us know. Until next time, this is Decidedly. Insights, advice, and comments provided by Sean Smith, Sanger Smith, and speakers identified as part of the Decidedly podcast should not be considered recommendations. Speakers not identified as members of Decidedly are expressing their opinion, and their statements should not be construed as reflecting the views of the Decidedly team. This podcast is produced solely for informational purposes, not personalized advice.